Welcome to another great Suddenly Comics video. Suddenly Comics. YouTube. Instagram. Whatnot. eBay. It's all about comics.
Hi comic book fans and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. I'm just preparing some comics to submit to CGC, so I thought it would be interesting just to show you the comics I've selected and why I've selected them. Okay, now the first thing is if you're submitting to CGC, I submit directly to the CGC offices in London. Up to now, it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the CGC offices in London. I have to pay, if I drive in, I have to pay congestion charge and I have to pay for parking. So it does cost me a few quid to take them in. However, I am delighted to say that my daughter, who is now a patent lawyer, has her offices literally virtually next door to the CGC offices. So she has volunteered to take in comics to CGC and collect them for me, which is fantastic. So my daughter is visiting tomorrow. So I am preparing a stack of comics to give to her tomorrow to take to CGC sometime next week. So that's the first thing. So that reduces costs because not everybody has a daughter who works in the office next door to CGC. I know that. But even if you live within reach of London, driving in, dropping the comics off means you're not paying postage charges, and it also reduces the risks associated with losing comics in the post. Right, so that's the first thing, and also my daughter will collect these from CGC when they are ready, which is excellent. Okay, now the next thing that I've learned is you want to submit comics at the same time that are all in the same tier. Okay, CGC London will charge you a handling charge. I think it's something like £13 for each separate submission. Okay, so if you submit a modern and a vintage and a high value, they will charge you three lots of handling charges for each of those submissions. If you submit everything under one category, you only get charged one handling fee. Okay, so I'm doing a modern submission this time. So all these comics are what CGC define as modern. So they have to be to fall into this category. They have to be post 1975, and they have to be worth, I think it's less than £250. Okay, now that's all a bit fluid because you don't really know what the comic's worth until it's been CGC'd. So that's all a bit subjective, but I've never had one where they've said, "Oh, well, this is a higher grade and therefore it's worth more money. You need to pay more for it." So, okay, so all of these are in the modern category. Now, so consequently, these I've got 9 comics here, and they're going to cost me just under £200 to get graded. I actually do have an £88 credit with CGC outstanding from my membership fees. So this lot will cost me about 100, just over £100. Okay, so let's have a look at these comics and I'll tell you why I'm submitting them. The first one is What If number 33. Okay, now, first off, there's a couple of things about this. Firstly, it is in absolutely cracking grade. Okay, just looking at it, I think it's a 9.8 candidate. Now, it's always dangerous to say that, but looking at it, I can't see anything wrong with it. There are no spine ticks. The corners are sharp. Can't see anything wrong with it. It's a great Galactus cover. This is the one in which it's a what if in which Dazzler becomes a herald to Galactus. Not only all that, but this is from 1982 and it is a newsstand. So by the time we got to 1982, newsstands were rare. Now, if I looked on the on Go Collect, it records no CGC copies of this, where there's about 60 or 70 of the direct market version. So I think this will be one of a very small number, if not only one of one, when this comes back. So I'm hoping for a high grade on that. It is a CGC. It is a newsstand, and I think he's pretty rare. So we will see. But that is one that I think is worth getting graded. That won't be for sale. That will be for my PC because it's got Galactus and Silver Surfer, and I do collect both those two. Right, this next one. This is an interesting one. This is the first appearance of Doomsday. Um, okay, so this is from 1992. Uh, it is in really nice grade. Again, I'm only thinking of submitting this because it does look really clean to me. So I'm hoping this is going to come back. Quite a lot of these. So I'm adding £22 worth of value to this. It probably does need to come back a 9.8 or a 9.6 to be worth paying the 20 quid to get this graded. The other thing to note about this book is there were 5 printings. So if you've got this, you need to check what printing number you've got. Now you can tell you can tell if it's a first print by the logo. So the first print has the yellow internal writing and the blue sort of borderline. Okay, so this is a first print. Also in the indicia, it doesn't say anything about it being second, third, fourth, or fifth printings. So getting that graded, that probably will be for sale. I don't particularly collect Superman, so I will be doing that for selling. So it does need to come back as sort of 9.6, 9.8. At a 9.4, I've probably just I've probably just broken even. Okay, next up, this is I got this in a charity buy from Mr. Colin Nolan, where I bought a whole bunch of comics to support his nephew who has terminal cancer. A lot of the comics that came were pound comics or less, but this one, he did plant some valuable comics inside the boxes he was selling, and I was lucky enough to pick up one of these. For those of you who don't know what this is, it is Spawn 175, the second appearance of Gunslinger Spawn. This, believe it or not, in a 9.8 is worth about £400. So this, and even in a 9.6, 9.4, 9.2, 9.0, this is still worth money. So this is a no-brainer to get graded. I don't know if it's going to come back a 9.8, but even if it comes back 9.4, 9.6, it's well worth getting graded. So next up, I have a X-Men 266. This is the first appearance of Gambit. And Gambit is getting quite hot. This is, again, this looks really good to me. It's really difficult. Once you get past 9.2, I find it very difficult. I am going to give this a press before I send it out. Let's hope that comes back as a 9.6 or 9.8, in which case it'll be fine. It's not worth so much in a 9.0 or an 8.5, but I'll probably break even if it does come back in those grades. Right. Next up, this is for my personal collection. Okay. Um, I've got 2 copies of this. This one I think is the highest grade. For those of you who don't know, this is from 1982, and it is the first appearance in here is the first appearance of Guru the Wanderer by Sergio Aragonés. I'm a big Gru collector. I think this could be a high grade. Excuse me. Again, I'll probably give that a press before it goes out. But yeah, so that will be not for selling. That's for my PC. So obviously, be happier with higher grade We'll see how that gets on. Okay, next up is this one. This is the first cameo appearance. This is Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. Uh, the famous edition, the famous number is number 26, which I have, but it's in a mid grade. This is so it's not, the famous one is not 26. What is it? Its first appearance of John Constantine, 27? Something like that. But this is his first cameo appearance, 37. I think his first full appearance is in Swamp Thing 37. There we go. My brain's working now. But he does appear in one panel here. So this is his first cameo appearance. I think this is worth getting graded. I think this is a 9.0, maybe a bit higher. Again, it probably needs a press before I send it out. Next up, just love this cover. Always love this, and I love the artist. This is Silver Surfer #1 from 1988. This is the two-issue series drawn by the great French artist Mobius, and I just love this Galactus Silver Surfer cover. So this will be for the PC. I just think that'll look great in a slab. So that's for me, not for selling on. Right, finally, this is a comic that I bought back in the day for cover price in my local comic shop. And it is Nightmare on Elm Street #1. I have tried to sell this a couple of times on my What Shop Not show, and nobody's prepared to pay me what I think it's worth. So I said on my last What Not show, if nobody buys this, I'm sending it off for grading. So there we go. It is Nightmares on Elm Street, issue 1, 1991 from Innovation. Great looking cover. I don't think it's a 9.8. I think there are a couple of very small spine breaking, color breaking spine ticks. But again, I'm going to press and clean that before it goes. Actually, there is one other comic which I'm submitting. So that's 9 comics in all. The other comic I'm submitting is in the press as we speak. It is Hellblazer issue 1. So another Constantine key. Again, I really would like that to come back a 9.4, 9.6 or 9.8. Obviously, if it comes back a 9.8, then it's a big money book. So there you go. That is my next 9 submissions. Oh, I thought you also might quite be interested in having a look at the submission form. For those of you who've not submitted, let me share my screen. Where is my CGC submission form? There it is. Okay, so here we are on CGC submission. So you can see CGC online submission form. This is all in the modern tier, and I have also selected drop off at headquarters. Okay. And this is what I've got. These are the comic. You can see the comics that I've put in here. So Silver Surfer, and I've put an estimate of the value. Okay. Um, so yeah, and there you can see the fee, £22.50 for a modern comic. Plus you've got the handling charge. So, and then you've got a total down at the bottom. So this is, as I said, this is costing me. There's the handling charge, but because these are all in the same category, there's only one handling charge for all the comics. So, you know, the more you submit, so what's this down to? I've submitted 9 comics there, so we're down to less than £2, about £1.50 a comic for handling charge, and £22.50. So I will print that off. I'll print off 2 copies. I will keep a copy. No, both copies I'll give to my daughter. She takes them into CGC. They keep 1 copy. They then sign the other copy to confirm that they have received the comics, and that comes back to me. What happens then is you don't pay anything initially. Payment is at the end of the process, not the start of the process, which is one of the things I like. So they will go off. Typically takes about, at the moment, it has been taking about 6 to 8 weeks, which I think is really good for these to come back, to go over to America, to get graded, to come back. And modern tiers go faster than anything else. Um, so yeah, about 6 to 8 weeks to come back. And I'll show you these when we come back and see what grades we got. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. That's your lot. I hope you've enjoyed this little video about my next CGC submission. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.